Hello and welcome back, future scientists. I'm Mr. K with Mississippi Public Broadcasting. We've been studying ecology a lot over the past couple weeks, and I wanted to review a little bit of that information with y'all today. So if y'all could, teacher, go ahead, take that sheet, pass that out to everybody in the class. Y'all take 10 or 15 minutes to work on it. It's just 10 review questions. Y'all take some time to work on it, and when you're done, come back to me and I'll do it on the board. So go ahead and do that for me. All right, I'm sure that didn't give y'all any problem, but just in case it did, make sure you're following along with me and I'll make sure we are all on the same page here. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we're looking at. Okay, number one here says the largest number of individuals that an environment can support long term. This is that term that we were using a lot last time. This is known as carrying capacity. So the capacity to which an environment can carry or support, that is known as carrying capacity. Is how many people can an environment support long term. All right, 2 says, what happens if a population grows past its carrying capacity? All right, so let's look at these, okay? So I'm liking B for this one. The population starts to die off. If you have individuals that can't be supported by the environment, they're not going to find the food or water that they need, and that means that individuals aren't going to make it. Okay, let's look at number 3. This may cause the population to increase. So which of these things might cause the population to increase? Well, if we're increasing food supplies, if we remove predators, if we remove disease, all of these are going to make the population increase. Okay, so D for that one looks good. All right, let's keep it going. 4 and 5. Something that regulates the size of a population. Okay, this is called a limiting factor. So food might be a limiting factor. Water might be a limiting factor. Whatever you have to find in order to survive, an environment only has a certain amount of that, and so that's going to limit the amount of individuals in a population. All right, so 5. What are factors that affect carrying capacity? So this is biotic and abiotic, okay? Because if it starts to, let's say you have a drought or a famine, that's certainly going to affect the population, the carrying capacity, but this could also be things like diseases, right? So those are a couple of examples of abiotic and biotic factors. All right, let's look at this one. Which of the following would increase the carrying capacity of an ecosystem? Okay, so an increase in available food would certainly increase the carrying capacity. All right, just a couple more here. All right, 7 says, if a disease destroying barley plants in a field swept through an ecosystem, what would happen to the barley eating bird population in the field? Well, let's say all the barley, something happened to that. Well, what would happen to the birds that eat the barley? Well, the population would decrease, right? If all the food for these birds starts to go away, the birds aren't going to make it. All right, just a couple more here. So 8 says, a scientist was studying a population of fish in a pond over a period of 10 years. He observed that the population increased each year for 3 years and then remained nearly constant for the rest of the study. The best explanation for this observation is that the population had reached carrying capacity. So what's happening is for 3 years the population is increasing. Eventually it hits that carrying capacity and it just stays there for the remainder of the study. So once it reached its carrying capacity, it stayed within that limit and didn't really increase or decrease too much. All right, let's keep it going. 9 says, habitat availability increases for the population. How would the carrying capacity of the prey change? Okay, so if we have more habitat for the population, what's going to happen? Okay, so A, the carrying capacity would increase as more resources become available. So if you have a bigger habitat, that can support more individuals, and that means the carrying capacity would increase. All right, last one here. When death rate is equal to birth rate, the population is going to stay the same size. So you're losing as many people as you're gaining. That means the population is generally going to stay there at the same size. So y'all, thank you so much for making it today. Your teacher has some other work for you to do. Make sure to give that your best effort, and I hope everybody has a great day.